about the different places that he did have his stores and things like that. Again, you know, different books. I've copied them in there. You can read through that. I've also included the information that Mary Frances sent, you know, Quanah Cox's wife, that she sent, that points out where Nanny Nina and Nellie fall into that, and then the list of children that Emmett and Namakua did have. And of course, their youngest son, James, for a long time, was long-sitting tribal chairman.
Emmett's youngest son, James?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was Mom's uncle.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and if you,
Well, they had
if you
the
go into the Comanche Nation website, it pulls up the homepage or the front page, or you go into their council members or something. These ones are pictures right there.
Oh, yeah?
He died a few years ago.
Yeah, but he was a long-term tribal chairman.
He only died a few years ago?
Mm-hmm.
James.
James.
Yeah. And is she still alive?
No,
No,
Marie.
Marie, she died too.
She did.
Mm-hmm.
We only had one son, too. Also James.
Yeah.
He's still alive.
Okay. Any questions on that so far?
On that page that you're just looking at, it says children of Emmett Edward Cox and Namakur, aka Cynthia Ann. What does that mean? That's confusing.
It is.
That
It
was her
is.
white name.
At least all the
Her
kids, they don't know
name.
whose
That
was
her
whose.
white
That was
name.
her white?
White name.
Does
Oh.
happens to be the same as the name as Cynthia?
Happens to be the same? No, it's not happens. Quanah Parker and one of his wives, Wakia, their daughter was Namakur.
Okay, so
So her
Cynthia Ann
grandmother
Parker was
would
her
be
grandmother. Okay.
Cynthia Ann.
Right.
Her grandmother would be Cynthia Ann. So, you know,
She's kind of a namesake.
it's kind of just, yeah, uh-huh.
Matt, did you see that one of their names? Nora? That's what Matt wanted to name all of our children, Nora.
Oh.
That was his favorite girl.
If they were girls.
You get big
And only one of them one was named Nora, and then it wouldn't be another one.
I meant every time I was pregnant, that was the girl's name.
You don't do repeats?
And then, why isn't Violet not Nora?
Because it was not my favorite.
And so you see how it's.
So the commander came out and she
Oh, the cheese stands alone.
You have to say that if I had any knowledge.
So then someone was
of
violent
their
about the
names,
names?
that would have predisposed me more towards that name. So this is like 5 years too late.
You see, I don't think anything's ever too late or anything like that.
No, I mean,
You always
So
change
many
names.
things, it takes time to work it out. Things happen in time.
Amy could have a girl in name or
So, Matt, that's what I was saying about us. Some creature, you know,
I like
Unity South.
Goodrich used to come back. I saw a lot of Goodrich in there.
Okay, so
Nanny Manu?
this whole next section, I'm not going to go through it. It says, it starts with all results for Joseph W. Cox.
Eric.
Joseph W. Cox was Emmett's father.
okay.
Okay? So I've included information in front of it about Emmett, his birthplace and things about him and things like that. But this starts with his father, and it's printed out, and that's back as far as we can find Cox's. Okay? Here's the way it goes, though. You need to understand, you might want to take a note, so if you're going back through it later, you can keep track of it. In the Book of Wilson, on Ancestry.com, all the different things that when you keep a genealogy, it seems to be that they set it up this way. You start with the husband's name, the male's name. And then the wife's name. And then you run through the wife as far as you can. both maternal and paternal. And that's what follows. Then you go back to the next male, Joseph's father,
You do the same thing.
and then his mother. And you run through that mother's whole line, and you go back to the male again. So eventually you get it all covered, but you include all the maternal lines too. Do you understand that? It eventually gets, so you're gonna see a lot of different names in here, but those are the maternal ones, see? Because those change a lot. But then it will go right back to a Cox, and you know that that was then, the last Cox you look at, that was his father. And it just keeps going backwards until as far as you can hit it. And they're fun to look at, there's some interesting little things sometimes put on the side things. And also, a lot of times it's included whether or not they, when you get to that time period, whether they were, they served in the American Revolution, or if, what regiment they were in the Civil War. They're all Confederates. They're all Confederates. So, but as you read through those, you can see, you know, it's interesting, the time periods and the, you know, I like Temperance Bailey. You know,
It's a good Puritan
yeah,
name
it's a
right there.
good Puritan name.
Do you know why on the Joseph page, Joseph Hunt's page, why there'd be a matching record in the Australia marriage index?
You know what? It just cross it out.
Okay.
They just throw stupid stuff up there. They want you to look up different stuff.
Okay, so it's not
There
necessarily.
could be a Joseph Cox in the Australian register. I know he wasn't registered in Australia.
Oh, okay.
So, I don't know, yeah.
Okay, all right.
It's just, you know, and you hit print friendly and it still shows up, so, yeah.
Temperance.
Where do you see that name, Temperance?
Yeah, where is Temperance?
I'll turn to you.
It's on Samuel C.
Yeah.
Cox's page.
Samuel's,
Okay, we gotta go several pages.
Samuel's wife. Oh, let me, while you're looking through that just a little bit, I'll do it real quick. Here's the thing. You have to look at the time period and take the information in. You have to look at the time period and take the information in. They were all Confederates. A lot of them were growers, you know, farmers and planters. Yes, they had plantations and yes, they had slaves. If you look at Samuel, Will,
A lot of gifting going on.
a lot of gifting.
I'm sorry, where are you? I'm on the Samuel Cox page. You're saying look at his will,
Mhm.
which is on the back?
Second page of.
You're on it, right there.
Oh, okay, will book page.
I do. D-O-O. One Negro boy.
Slightly melodramatic.
Count how many Negroes they had.
Okay, Meredith was a son.
Mhm.
Oh, that's stupid. No, I just mean like,
Yeah, it's like Mary and Sue.
no, I just mean that they're handing down other human beings to, yeah. I know, that was the norm.
Yeah, I know.
It's the truth of it.
And also whatever children that black person would have.
They count 10 Negroes.
He also had a son named Pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
Which chair?
That was a son?
Meredith and Pleasant, huh? What if they got beat up for that?
And Manly, Phoebe, Manly.
So how come Pleasant only got cash and not any Negroes?
Manly was probably, or Pleasant was probably needy.
Mm.
They had $500.
You know what I
cost them
mean.
only $150.
And they inherited Negro girls. That's-
Anyway, whenever I found an interesting story, as you go through these, because there's a whole lot more of these lines that we've run to put in there, following up a person, you know, take it back as far as we could track it back, you know. And there's little sidebars like that, and so there's interesting stories, I put it in there, or something like that.
So what is the date of this? What is the date of his death? 1820.
I wasn't
1820 Kentucky, yeah, that's.
scanning through them. It says, I do leave my wife And I thought his wife's name was executive, and I thought, no, that's not her name. That's who she, the executive. I thought, wow, what a weird name.
Yeah. So anyway, when you have time, you can go back and look through and read those, where they came from, and including the wives and different things like that. But that's as far back as we could find the Coxes.
Some of them didn't live very long at all.
No, and then some of them, 80s and 90s, even back in those times.
39,
Okay.
20.
So, we covered the Indians and we covered the Coxes of that generation. Now we're going to go to the Wilsons. And that would be the first Edward.
Edward the First.
He's living in Cumberland County. Virginia, and that's actually just outside, they live just outside Richmond. Barter Hill and Somerset are just outside Richmond. And this is from the Wilson family book, and then, you could find some more information maybe in there, but anyway. Edward Wilson was born in 1819, the 10th child of Captain Matthew and Elizabeth Trent Wilson of Barter Hill in Cumberland County, Virginia. He was married twice. His first wife was Miss Sarah Linton Powell, whom he married in 1862, or 52. And from this union there were 8 children. His first wife died in 1870. 2 years later he married a widow, Miss Virginia Jones Scott, and from this union there was 1 child. Mr. Wilson soon came into possession of and settled at the old Somerset plantation not far from Barter Hill, the home of his birth in Cumberland County, Virginia, where he lived until 1877, when he moved to a smaller plantation, Millview, which he also owned. This place was also in Cumberland County, Virginia, and only a few miles from Somerset and Barter Hill. He died very suddenly at Millview in August 1898 and was buried at Barter Hill, the place of his birth and home of his childhood. He served in the Confederate Army, Black Eagle Company, 18th Virginia Regiment, 1861 to 65. He was captured at the Battle of Petersburg, Virginia, and held as a prisoner of war on Hart's Island in New York Harbor, as shown on the following certificate. Anyway, and this is it's from April 1948. That's when it was documented. Looked up and researched. The records show that Edward Wilson, Private Company E, 18th Regiment, Virginia Infantry, Confederate States Army, enlisted October 11th, year not known, at Cumberland. The company muster roll for November and December 1864, dated December 31st, 1864. Last on file shows him present. Union prisoner of war records show that he was captured at Petersburg, sent to City Point, Virginia, and forwarded to Hart's Island, New York Harbor, where he was released June 20th, 1865, on taking the oath of allegiance to the United States. That's when they released all the prisoners. They had to take an oath of allegiance to the United States. Anyway, and then it's handwriting. So, so that's, pretty much what we know about him, but it was interesting enough. So, on the back side of that, I just included just a thing I printed out on captivity at Hart's Island. And how that was. It didn't matter what side of the war you were on. When you sent to the prison camps, you starved, you froze, you got diseased, you lost limbs. It was awful, rank and awful. Hey, Bunny. Turn it. Bunny's going to start the coffee and put some stuff out, and then we take a little break and we get up and walk around. So now we're going to get some really interesting stuff.
It's even more interesting.
There's a lot more to be not proud of.
Are you following?
Our father, John Moore, and that's
Is
Yes, it's right up
Is there more for us to not be proud of?
Since you're slave owners, that's not enough.
I don't think anything that
You should be.
This is her house.
We could have done to change that. Things have changed, obviously.
Ready to go?
I just talked about 4 generations from mom. See?
No French.
Yes, we're taking a break right now, right? And we're still, yes, taking a break. And we're gonna
Somehow we have at the top, like,
Get my stuff out.
yeah, right? You know who owns the record here?
You want me to move it?
Well, I won't be able to get out without it.
That car, the white car's yours? That's a regular looking car. Welcome to family life.
It's my wife's car. It's technically Tara's car.
So anyway, get up and walk around, stretch if you want to. In the kitchen, Bonnie just turned on the coffee. It's gonna, it'll have to cook for a few minutes, but there's coffee. But there's water or iced peach tea and
He doesn't even know
some
where to
munchies if you would like some.
Turned around and went,
start. Where do you want me to put your stuff?
You know what?
Oh, just, you can just set it outside the door.
That's Dan's.
You're the privileged one right there.
That was Taylor's great class.
Actually, the highlight of my day.